Hello, my name is Andy Boyd and I'm the building official for the City of Raytown, Missouri. In this PowerPoint video, I'm going to provide you with an overview of our new rental program. At the end of the video, I'll supply you with the contact information for our department in case you have any questions. With that being said, let's get started. These rental regulations have been adopted to protect the public health, safety, and general welfare and slow blighting conditions in the city by keeping properties in as good a condition as possible. As you can see, the ordinance would apply to all rental dwellings, all rental dwelling units, and even non-owner occupied properties. Non-owner occupied means the property or the dwelling is not the owner's primary address. We will begin with the initial permit process. The initial permit application must be submitted by April 30th, 2021. After submitting some documentation with the application, a rental inspector will inspect the dwelling and property. We highly recommend you may want to begin this process as soon as possible so that you can better understand the details of the program and we can work with you on correcting some items on the property or in the unit that may not pass the initial inspection. As you can see, multifamily properties that have over 20 units will be issued one permit, and 10% of the units will be initially inspected. Multifamily refers to buildings that contain 2 or more dwelling units, such as duplexes, fourplexes, and apartments. This is different than owning multiple properties. The initial permit is valid for 2 years. Now, let's discuss the information that's needed on the application. The full legal name of the owner or owners, along with their physical address, is required. No P.O. boxes will be accepted. The owner's phone number, fax number, and email address will also be needed. The same information is needed for a local property manager or the local agent. A local agent is a person or a company that's located in the Kansas City metro area and has been designated by the owner as a local representative for the purpose of accepting notices and making decisions on behalf of the owner. Owners that have multiple properties may list all their properties on one application. There are some other documents that must be submitted along with your application. Before your application can be approved, the city needs to receive verification that the water utility bill and the city sewer utility bills are both current. The sewer utility can be obtained right at City Hall, and the water utility needs to be obtained from your local water company. There are 2 separate water companies which serve the city of Raytown. Another document you must submit with your application is a form from the Raytown Fire Protection District that indicates your property and buildings are in compliance with fire safety regulations. After the Raytown rental inspector approves your property, you'll be given an approved inspection report, which also needs to be submitted with your application. A typical permit fee is $15 per dwelling unit, and the inspection certificate fee is typically $20. The price is a bit different for multifamily units. The rental ordinance has certain time frames that must be met for different changes to your property. Inspection requests before a new tenant moves in must be requested no less than 15 days before the change of occupancy. If ownership of the property changes, a new permit application will need to be submitted no less than 45 days prior to the change of ownership. Also, if you change your local agent or your local contact, that document will need to be filed no less than 10 days after the local agent is changed. Please remember, your dwelling unit needs to have another approved inspection before the 2-year initial permit expires if there are any changes to tenants or new ownership. If you call in an inspection request, the inspection will be made at the most within 7 days. The rental inspector may also initiate an inspection for other reasons. If the city receives a complaint or if the inspector notices areas of deterioration, another inspection may be initiated. If some type of construction permit has been issued, the building inspector and the rental inspector may both be on site for the inspection. The upcoming slides in the presentation will hopefully give everyone an idea of the basic conditions that the inspector will be assessing during his or her visit to your building. When the inspector arrives at your property, the first thing he or she will see is the address number. The house numbers need to be clear, easy to read, and in good condition. House numbers need to be a minimum of 4 inches in height. Remember, if emergency services are needed to respond to the location, every second may count. The top left photo shows a house with broken address numbers. The middle photo shows the house number partially covered with a motion light. The top right photo, although the proper size and in a good location, needs to have contrasting colors with the background. These numbers in the photo are very hard to see from the street. Years ago, when smoke detectors were first required, they were typically installed only in the bedroom hallway. Fire investigations have found that most people who die in house fires are actually overcome from smoke while sleeping. The requirement for locations of detectors have changed over the previous 20+ years. Proper locations now for smoke detectors are one in each sleeping room, as well as the area that serves the sleeping room, which is referred to as the hallway. Also, a smoke detector needs to be installed on each floor, even if there are no bedrooms. In multifamily units, enclosed hallways also need to have smoke detectors. If your dwelling unit has natural gas appliances, a carbon monoxide detector must also be installed in the bedroom hallway. Combination smoke and carbon monoxide detectors can also be obtained. Detectors need to be mounted on the ceiling. If there are any mounted on the wall, make sure they are within 12 inches of the ceiling. Although the occupant may be required to pay certain utilities at the dwelling, it's the owner's responsibility to make sure that the utilities are available to the dwelling. All dwelling units need to have hot and cold water, heat, and electricity. The inspector will look at plumbing fixtures to verify they are in good working condition. Leaking or broken valves, faucets, water lines, and drains are maintenance issues and need to be kept in a proper state of repair. Likewise, the appliances must be properly installed. The inspector will check the appliance flues, electrical wiring, gas and refrigerant lines, as well as other safety items that should be present with the units. Dwelling units are required to have a 100 amp service. Some older homes that have less than a 100 amp service will need to be upgraded or evaluated by a licensed electrician. During the inspection, areas where shock hazards are present may be identified. Common issues that are often found are open breaker slots in the panel box, exposed wiring, and missing cover plates. Outlets installed on kitchen countertops, bathrooms, and other hazardous locations will need to be GFCI or ground fault circuit interrupter protected. This special outlet senses a shock hazard and will turn off the power in areas when the electricity may come in contact with water. Rats, mice, cockroaches, and other bugs must be exterminated if found. Unclean conditions and food left exposed are often the cause. When these critters begin searching for warmth, moisture, shelter, or food, they may find it inside the home if they can find a way in. Areas of common use for the tenants will also be inspected. This could include pool areas, handrails and guardrails on stairways, maintenance of lighting near the dwelling entrance, laundry rooms, lobbies, and parking lots. Broken or cracked windows, missing or torn screens, damaged or missing door hardware, and jams will be noted for repair if seen during the inspection. A set of stairs with 4 or more steps need a proper handrail mounted between 34 inches and 38 inches in height. Guardrails are needed when a walking surface has more than a 30-inch drop to another adjacent surface. Guardrails need to be 36 inches in height and not have openings greater than 4 inches. All occupants must be able to safely and easily travel from room to room and also quickly exit the premises during emergencies without falling or tripping over obstructions. Common nuisance or municipal code violations may be identified by the inspector. These may include tall weeds, trash, debris, brush piles, inoperable or unlicensed vehicles, parking on the grass, or even animal issues such as basic care and dog licenses. These are more photos of items left on properties that cause blighting in our city when left unchecked. Be advised how many people are allowed to live in a dwelling. Raytown's adopted property maintenance code states that a bedroom needs a minimum of 70 square feet and an additional 50 square feet for any extra people using that bedroom. Many basements, although used for sleeping rooms, do not have the required escape window. These windows are lower to the floor and large enough to escape from in a fire if the stairs are not accessible. This concludes the rental regulations video. I'd like to thank you for watching and hope that you now have a better understanding of this new program. As I stated at the beginning, please feel free to call or email our department with any further questions you may have.